everyone, welcome to our YouTube channel. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm Briana with Vacation of the Mind, and today is our last video of February's video series on self-love and self-care, and I'm really excited today to be talking about how do you celebrate you, a concept that I had to get used to just a few short years ago. I didn't really know how to celebrate my successes and to celebrate my accomplishments and ultimately to celebrate me. And so today I'm going to share with you a few mindfulness techniques that you can utilize in promoting self-love and self-care within your life for celebrating you. You know, I was bred at a very early age to be an overachiever, which we're actually going to talk a little bit more about in March's video series, what it means to be an overachiever and how you can utilize mindfulness and meditative techniques to still be an achiever, but not so much an overachiever. And so what an overachiever means to me is that you are just constantly setting a goal, working toward that goal, and then moving on. You know, from the time that I was about 10 years old, I worked babysitting jobs. I helped my grandparents with their cleaning company and would go to commercial properties and help them clean. And I also was required by my family to meet a certain GPA average in school and excel in school. And then on top of all of that, I started playing sports when I was in 5th grade, and all through middle school and high school, you know, I had to keep a job and maintain a certain GPA in addition to playing sports year round. Now, I'm not complaining about any of this because it is all a part of the person and the woman that I am today, and I'm thankful for having learned a hard work ethic. But what that did for me was it created this mentality that I constantly had to be on the go, that I always had to be setting a goal, achieving that goal, moving to the next, setting a goal, achieving that goal, moving to the next. And it also made me a multitasker, meaning I had a lot of projects and a lot of things going on at once. And with this overachiever mentality, what happened was I never learned how to celebrate my successes. I never learned how to take a moment and pause and congratulate myself for the winnings that I had. I just kept going and moving through from one goal to the next. And I'm sure many of you can relate to this. And for those of you who can't, that's so awesome. I'm happy that you have conquered what it is to take a pause and celebrate your success, hopefully earlier than I learned. So, you know, what this did in terms of building, you know, the woman that I am today and the person that I am today is it really kept me in an overwhelmed state, which became my normal. I was really good at saying yes to a lot of projects and a lot of things. And what I wasn't really good at was saying no and setting boundaries in my life and not committing to too much on my plate. At 27 years old, I was in the business world. I had started my first company when I was in college at 23 and grew it to be very successful. I was also the youngest member on a charity board. I was running a networking group in South Florida. Many of you may know the organization BNI. And I just had my hands in a lot of pots. You know, I carried that overachiever mentality into my 20s, you know, and while I was excelling in everything that I did, I also didn't realize that I was wreaking havoc on my body. And at 27 years old, I had a total body breakdown, which I'll get into more detail in next month's series about, because this month isn't about that health. What it's about is you know, from that experience of having a total body breakdown and really, you know, I was bedridden for 3 months and had all of these deficiencies and adrenal fatigue and a lot of different ailments that came from this. The culprit was being overwhelmed and overworked. And I remember during that time, after I figured out what it was, that it was mostly from stress and not taking time to pause, I hired a life coach. And I remember her during one of our coaching sessions saying to me, you know, you seem to be really good at setting a goal and achieving that goal and then moving on to the next, or setting 5 goals and achieving all 5 of those goals and moving on to the next. She said, have you ever made a list of all of your accomplishments? She's like, you're 27 years old and you are a board member on a charity. You are leading a large networking group. You are running a successful company, leading a team of people. And I had a lot of other things on my plate that I was managing at that time too, a lot of volunteer work and stuff like that. And, in addition to trying to find balance with your personal life, right? And I, felt kind of like I had been hit by a truck, honestly, whenever she said that, because no, I had never stopped to think about all the successes that I had had. I had never stopped to think about all of the things that I had achieved, much less sit down and take time to write them down. And so I did that. I did that exercise, and I was astonished by where I was in my life and how much I had actually accomplished. Now, this isn't to toot my own horn, absolutely not. This is just to relate to those of you who can understand kind of where I'm coming from. And so from that age on, I had to learn how to take a pause and to take a moment and celebrate my successes. Even in turmoil and in the midst of chaos in life, we accomplish so much. And it's so important that we take a moment just to cheers to ourselves and say, congratulations, you just knocked that goal out of the park, and I'm so proud of you. And so I started learning how to do mirror work, being positive with myself, and I started learning how to set those goals, how to still accomplish them, but also how to take a moment and celebrate myself. And so some of the ways that I celebrate myself now and the accomplishments that I have is, first, using mindfulness to even recognize when I've accomplished something. Last year, I published a book. It was no easy feat, especially trying to upload it on Amazon and, get all of the formatting correct and the editing process. There were a lot of late nights and early mornings working with my team, trying to get all of that accomplished. And I remember once I finally got the Amazon book up on Amazon and I ordered my first couple hundred copies, I was so excited. And I remembered what she said. When's the last time you sat down and wrote a list of all of your accomplishments? And so after I launched that book, I sat down and had a beautiful bottle of wine and fixed myself an amazing dinner. And I put my phone down and, kind of tuned out the rest of the world and really celebrated me, celebrating that accomplishment that had been a big goal of mine for some time. I now make it a practice every year, at the end of the year, to sit down and reflect on the year. And yes, we can take a look at some of the things that might have gone wrong, and we can take a look at some of the things that we want to improve. But I now sit down and make a list of all the accomplishments, all the things that I have to be happy for and grateful for that I worked really hard to do, and I did it. So a few ways you can celebrate yourself is to first use mindfulness as a way to become aware of when you've accomplished your goals and when you have set out to succeed something and you've knocked it out of the park. Just become aware of that, Look in the mirror, tell yourself, congratulations, you did this, you accomplished it, and this is so amazing. Take those few minutes just to applaud yourself and pat yourself on the back and smile at yourself and be happy. Allow those happy emotions to flow through your system. Remember what they're like, because things are going to get tough again and you're going to be hustling to meet another goal and you're going to think, am I ever going to finish this goal? Remember what it felt like to finish the one before, so that you can carry those emotions, those positive emotions, into the next goal that you're trying to achieve. Sit down, make it a practice, maybe on a monthly basis or a quarterly basis, just to sit down and write out all of your accomplishments. Make a list of what you have achieved for that quarter, that month, that year. Make this a practice that is ingrained in you. Don't write down the things that you want to do better or the things that you want to do differently. That can come in another list, but truly just sit down and create a list of items that you have done well and that you are proud of for yourself. And then treat yourself. This is such an important self-care topic of treating yourself. I don't mean, go out and spend a ton of money that maybe you have or you don't have on buying those new pair of shoes or that new outfit or that new car or whatever. While all of those things are amazing and great, find a way to celebrate yourself. Maybe you take yourself out to dinner. Maybe you have a champagne toast to you. Maybe you go buy that nice bottle of wine you've had your eye on. You sit down, you have a couple of glasses. Maybe you take yourself on a rewarding vacation, or you take yourself to an attraction in your city that you've been wanting to visit. Just reward yourself and treat yourself. At minimum 4 times a year. If you can make this a monthly thing, it's even better, because the more you breed in yourself happiness and feeling good, the more things you're going to be able to accomplish from an awesome place. Feeling good is not necessarily something that we're taught from an early age. We're just taught how to keep going and how to keep pushing through. And many of us are bred to be, in a negative, worrying mindset a lot of times. We could get into the science of the amygdala in our brain and how that's addicted to fear and worry and stress. But just know that celebrating you and celebrating your successes feeds more positivity and happiness in your life when you take that moment to pause and say congratulations for whatever it is. It can be small, it can be big, it can be medium size. Just taking that moment to really make time for you and relish in a happy, feel-good moment is going to breed more of those. And it's gonna help you get through some of those rough days when things may not be going your way, right? Because we all have those days. So I encourage you, sit down tonight, tomorrow, this weekend, make your list of the things that you've accomplished in the last month, in the last year, in the last quarter, whatever you wanna focus on. And then do something nice for you. Whatever that is, whatever it is that you enjoy doing, do something nice for you. Celebrate your successes. For that's the ultimate sign of self-love and self-care, is to take a moment for you. Thanks again for tuning in. I'd love to hear what each of you have done to celebrate you from this video. If you like this video, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, like the video, comment below, tell us how it's helped you or what you did to celebrate you. You can also join our Facebook group at Vacation of the Mind, and you can check out some of our other videos. We've got a lot of guided meditation recordings here on YouTube, quick meditations to help you reset your day and get into a great mood. Thanks again for tuning in. I'm Briana with Vacation of the Mind, and I hope you have an amazing day.